I have no idea what was going on there. But we've hopefully corrected it for the time being. Welcome back. That's more like it. That's more like it. Right. So we cut down a couple retainers, and you may have noticed that I was able to instantly open one of them up for a death blow by blocking his blow at, like, the exact moment it would have connected. That's called, I'm pretty sure it's just called a deflection, and it's the most important mechanic in the game. Oh dear. We've been seen. Yeah, that's teaching us about deflection. I just taught you I'm a better teacher than the game is. Now, you can, of course, block attacks, even if you don't deflect them. It just costs you some of your poise, so you don't want to overexert yourself. These guys aren't too bad. Now, generally speaking, in Sekiro especially, you don't want to get in fights with more than one or two, at the very most, two enemies at a time. So the use of stealth to navigate certain environments is heavily encouraged. Like so. We don't have to go over here, by the way. I just want to get a little work with the blade in before we get into the real stuff. These guys, the Ashina Ashigaru, are going to be the standard soldiers we face for most of the early sections of the game. Is the audio better, by the way? Oh yeah, and for what it's worth, we can hold down the attack button to, like, charge a little thrust. It doesn't matter. Promise you it doesn't matter. We can hold down the circle button, not only to dodge with a quick press, but hold it down, rather, to run, just as long as we like. Like I said, no stamina, and there's only one physical attack button. It's all R1. For now, anyway. There we are. Easy. Seth says I like simplicity. I do too, when it's used in ingenious ways, like this. And trust me, things do get more complicated. Now notice, that guy was able to block our strikes after a certain amount of time and throw us off. So we needed to wait until he was open for a deflection. Now, you know how I mentioned this game has a lot of boss battles, and it's kind of my favorite thing about the game? Time for our first one. Lots of bosses that aren't like the big main bosses, like this guy, have similar templates or movesets, but every encounter has enough unique elements about it so as to feel completely different. This is leader Shigenori Yamauchi, and he is the only... Seth says at least they're not demons with axes. Not yet they aren't. Wait until the end game. This is the only mini-boss of this exact type in the entire game. You'll notice he has two little pips above his health bar in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Now, what that means is we need to perform 2 death blows on him in order to down him. Hold on, I feel like the game may be a bit too loud now that we've got music. I'll fix this, don't you worry. There we go, just let me know if the audio's off. And yeah, immediately after properly deflecting an attack, you can follow up with a slightly more powerful slash. It can be useful. You'll notice that our dude has, like, no stamina. Yep, he needs more than one death blow. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, he actually got me, wow. I could tell I'm rusty, then. So, you get how the game works. Yeah, you're not super strong or durable, but neither are most of the enemies. You just have to find ways to exploit their movesets into giving you these openings to wear them down. All we gotta do is run through this again, which we can, no worries. There we are. It's gonna be rough playing through the game early on without a couple character upgrades I really came to rely on last time around. And I mean, like, really came to rely on. Come on. Now, yeah, you start out super frail, but guess what? Every time you defeat a boss or a mini-boss, you get items that, in lieu of traditional leveling, will make you stronger, rewarding you for seeking out and overcoming challenges, both mandatory and optional throughout the game. Let's see, is there a way we can sneak around and, like, bring him down? No. Don't even give him time to draw his sword. That's it. His big-ass, unwieldy sword. Okay. We're doing alright. That's one. And now while he's reeling, get a couple more in. Forgot that these types can just power straight through our regular attacks. Every, like, mini-boss has its own rules. But there we go. That's him done. And we got, just a pellet as a reward. Usually you get much better rewards than that. Doesn't open from this side, just to let you know we're playing a FromSoft game. But he really just served as sort of an introduction to what we can expect in mini-boss battles and the like. Okay, so from here, we want to go over there, to the far side of the bridge. So, hold on just a second. I got this. We want to go over here. Fistful of ash. Ash gripped into a hardened clump, throw it at an enemy to temporarily distract them. In Ashina, the snow falls thick, and thus the hearth runs thick with ash. This is situationally useful. We can get something that effectively replaces this pretty early on, but I guess it's still nice to have. Alright. We don't need to worry about a lot of items and things like this around here. Potato asks, fistful of ass. Not yet, not yet. We gain access to that later, don't you worry. So I get that these are supposed to be muffled because we're, like, eavesdropping in on a conversation, but wow, are these quiet. At least we got subtitles. So, over here, we're going to be introduced to the first of many of Ashina's, mutant auxiliaries used to fight, like, the rapidly modernizing armies of shogunate Japan. The Bakemono, or, like, I think the Badger Assassins, I think they may be called. These little goblin men with, a real talent for poison and grapple attacks. Remember, this is their solution to, like, cannons and the like. This is what we turn people into. This is good military strategy. Oh, and speaking of fistful of ass, Potato, there you go. Is that what you wanted? That's close enough, right? Another pellet, thank you. We're not gonna need it. Right now, anyway. Okay. Potato says, sure, close enough. Yeah, I thought so. It's gotta give the people what they want around here. Alright, we've made it neath the bridge, so we can now summon, Lord Kuro. How is the sound, by the way? Is it too quiet, too loud? I have no idea. I tend to keep my headphones relatively quiet, so...
狼をよく見つけてくれた。さあ、 参ろう。
御意。
血の定めから逃れ
Potato
る。
says sounds fine for me. Great, thank you. Right, so it's time to get the hell out of this horror show.
この城を出て
Something that I assure you will go off without a hitch because that's how it works in video games.
あるいはどこかに身を隠すか。そなたはどう思う？
御意のままに。
御意か。そなたは変わらぬな。
We'll learn quickly that Wolf is kind of becoming a surrogate father to Kuro. Kind of, sort of, or a guardian at the very least. And the mechanic between, or the relationship between the two of them is one of the focal points of the game's narrative, and it's one that I think generally is handled pretty well. So we emerge into this gorgeous field that looks like the site of climactic battles from, you know, literally every samurai movie ever, and it's time we meet our main villain. And yeah, unlike most FromSoft stories, this one is just explicit and coherent enough to have a definite main villain.
叔父上の墓前以来か。
This is Genichiro Ashina, the supreme commander of the Ashina forces.
私はすまぬ。
お任せを。
Time for what is generally a near unbeatable boss battle. We're intended to lose
山立て
this.
するか。巫女の忍び。
But if you win, you get like a great deal of experience or something like that. The point is, we're about to get our ass handed to us. Genichiro is he's actually not a very good fighter, but his fight makes for some gorgeous visuals. You'll notice his style is extremely sort of sloppy and undisciplined. He's just like running about in a rage because, you know, that's Genichiro in a nutshell as a character. Yeah, we're supposed to lose that because we don't have the tools necessarily to counter a lot of his attacks. That's the important bit. We lose our arm. Star Wars style. And little does he know, Genichiro has just provided us with all we need to beat the ever-loving piss out of him later in the game. Several times.
巫女はもらっていくぞ。
That's a Nightjar, one of the Ashina's elite shinobi. We'll be seeing more of them later on down the line. They're actually really weak. Like, really, really, really weak. Which means, of course, that they're now going to kill me about 50 times over the course of the playthrough because I said that. It's a gorgeous game in terms of its audiovisual presentation, I think. So we've been saved and dragged from the outskirts of the castle town. And gifted with a really advanced wooden prosthetic arm. And it was crafted by this gentleman, the sculptor. He also carved all of these Buddha statues we see scattered around the temple. This is the dilapidated temple, which serves as a home base for maybe the first third of the game, give or take. The artificial arm of a shinobi, passed down by the sculptor. A replica of a human arm fitted with a variety of mechanisms, apparently designed with modification in mind. While it bears a number of cuts and is stained thick with blood and oil, it's been impeccably maintained. Which would indicate that we're not the first to use it necessarily. Right. Well, let's speak with our savior really quickly, and notice, he has no left arm. And it would appear our prosthetic has been worn and used previously. The implication should be clear. Yeah, I can see that. He's been carving the Buddha for a minute. We'll ask how we got here. Dilapidated doesn't quite do the temple justice. It is in a state of complete decay. We get to see temples in, like, top form later on in the game, and my god, are they gorgeous. So Kuro's now been taken from the Moonview Tower in the reservoir to Ashina Castle, so, like, the central holdfast of the entire country. We'll ask about the prosthetic arm. This is what I mean by there's going to be a lot of talking early on, and I do apologize if it, like, kills the flow of the stream, but this game has a whole lot of it on the front end, and then not very much from then on. Seth says, well, first Souls-like that actually explains what the heck is going on. Yes, it does. At least as far as the main plot is concerned. Like I said, the plot involving rescuing Kuro and putting a stop to Genichiro's plans is very clearly explained, and quite nicely at that. But the overarching lore of this world is actually just as hard to decipher as Dark Souls, if not more so. Like, shit gets complicated really quickly, the further we get out of Ashina. And that kind of starts right here. Let's ask what's important about Kuro's blood. Well, you see, they needed some kind of narrative justification for us coming back to life after we die time and again and again and again. And it turns out that Kuro is the inheritor of a celestial dragon's heritage that allows he and his bloodline to resurrect the dead or to escape the cycle of life and death, at least temporarily, or alter it. So people are after him for the resurrecting power of his blood, or his bloodline, at the least. Like, Genichiro is planning on using it to, depending on your reading of the plot, create an army of effectively immortal soldiers that can rise from the battlefield time and again and again and again to just keep on going through attrition, or to bring back a particular legendary hero of the Ashina to win the war for him.
ようなことになっておる者同士気が合うかもしれんな。
Okay, thank you. Anything else for us?
お前そいつに
Yep, nothing else. Alright. So, when we head outside, we can see the quite beautiful environs of the Ashina outskirts all around us. And we have our bonfire equivalent, the Sculptor's Idols. We can pray at one of these, not only to rest and synchronize it, but later on, this is where we can come to upgrade ourselves. You'll notice there we have a counter for prayer beads. Most of the time when we defeat mini-bosses, in addition to other gifts, including special gear or consumables once in a blue moon, or, in some cases, even brand new moves or character upgrades, we'll get a prayer bead, which is like a piece of heart in Legend of Zelda. Collect 4 of them, and you can string them together into a prayer necklace that will pretty significantly increase your health, and I think your stamina as well. And every time we defeat one of the game's big bosses, the really bombastic, like, cinematic fights, we'll get a battle memory that we can reflect on at the idol to increase our attack power permanently. The gauge beneath attack power is what has replaced souls, by and large, in this game, and that's experience. Every time the gauge fills up, you get a skill point that can be used to upgrade Wolf along one of numerous, and I do mean numerous, skill trees. And they're not like, a lot of them aren't passives like increase, R1 attack power by 6.3%, or any of the bullshit we saw in Avengers. All of the upgrades in this game, to the best of my knowledge, are really substantial, really intuitive, and in most cases change the way you play drastically. When you die, you lose a huge chunk of the accumulated experience in your EXP bar, but any experience points or skill points you've collected are locked in. You cannot lose those aside from spending them. Okie dokie. We've got a couple more pellets. We can have a maximum of 2 pellets at a time. 3 pellets in our inventory at a time. Anything spare just gets sent to kind of like the storehouse in Dark Souls. Light coin purse. A purse filled with a small amount of sin can be used to acquire the sin inside. The sin in this purse is not lost upon death. Yeah, regular money is also lost on death, but regular money is a thing we will need sporadically throughout the game, never consistently. You'll notice here is also the woman who, hey, Lack, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today, man. The woman who roused us from the well at the start of the game.
見ることになると
何者だ。
エマと言います。猿を肩に使えるクスシです。
猿を肩と。
すみませぬが、主の命にて明かせません。ただ、あなたを助けよと、そう仰せつかっています。信用しろとは言いません。ですが。
So, Emma's going to specialize in increasing the potency and number of uses of our healing gourd. So she's very, very important. And becomes, along with Kuro, one of our closest friends and allies throughout the adventure. And if we're a horrible person and go for the worst ending, she's like a significant part, or I think she may even be the final boss of the worst possible route.
このひょうたん、お主が作ったというのか。
はい。元はクロウ様のためにあなたが譲り受けていたのですね。気づいているかもしれませんが、このひょうたんの薬水はおのずと湧き出します。尽きたとて。 少し休めばまた満ちるでしょう。
I'm doing well, Lack. Thank you for asking, man. Been a pretty productive day. Got a lot of work done outside of the stream. We finished Mortal Shell, and now we're back to start Sekiro, which should get us in prime position to leap into the Demon Souls remake on PS5 when it launches, if I can get my hands on a PS5. I mean, with so much of the world on lockdown, everybody's going to be pre-ordering video game consoles. Needs something to do. So as we find gourd seeds, we can hand them off to Emma in exchange for additional uses of the healing gourd. They're just like Estus flask shards.
頼みがあります。
なんだ。
少し顔を見せてください。
何？
白いあざ。
Like so sweet, I know, right? Yeah. It's
いや。
ならば。
it's gonna be hard getting your mitts on a PS5, and
あるいは日差しか。
damn, I wish they didn't increase the baseline price of games for the next gen. I hope that doesn't stick. I hope
無
it
礼を
doesn't.
しました。すみません。では。
Alright, that's enough of that for now. We will be seeing plenty of these characters, no worries. And I do mean plenty. Now, the sculptor mentioned somebody in the clearing off to the side, and this is really, really cool. This character here, hold on, offering box. A couple, quality of life items here. First off, the offering box. Items that become unavailable elsewhere, so like items that you have only one chance to acquire and then miss, end up in the offering box. When the box is illuminated, it means an item has found its way inside. Items can be obtained by inspecting the box and offering money. It's very, very nice of them. And this is Hanbei the Undying, an immortal samurai, as we'll soon see, who effectively operates as... Oh, no problem, Lack. Glad you're here, as always. He effectively operates as a trainer. He will allow you to practice moves, particularly deflection and evasion, as much as you'd like. Totally free of, like, stakes.
そこもと。なあ。名乗られぬか。だが。
Okami's not exactly a massive conversationalist.
忍びの技ならば。ある。そこもとよ。ぜひそれがしと立ち会ってもらおう。
Yep, and we're in a fight. Let's do it. And, yeah, get him. Oh yeah, but that whole undying bit, that's about to kick in, and he's just fine. Even though he doesn't want to be. It's pretty dark, honestly.
そこもとの立ち筋。
I do love, though, that since the game plays so differently and has quite distinct rules, they gave you a way to learn the combat through more explicit tutorialization early on, if you'd be inclined to.
死なずあるいは虫つきと呼ぶ者もおるな。死ねぬのでただここにおるのだ。そこもとはこのような荒れ寺で何よ。随分と眉間にシワが寄っておる。そこもとよ。それがしを使い刀の修練をせぬか。お主の使命を果たすために死ねぬ体ゆえ幾度でも切られてやれるぞ。どうじゃ。承知した。
Sure. Why not?
ではやろう。刀を振らば気も紛れるというもの。
So we'll complete his lessons quickly, just to help me shake some of the rust
力
off.
は参る。
Yep, so standard attacking. Nice.
さらに
Easy. Let's indulge Hanbei's masochistic side for a minute and just land a couple death blows. Nice. And one more for the road. Okay, now we're going to practice deflection. This bit is the hardest to get down for every enemy, but it's also the most rewarding. it is, baby. Just like a rhythm game, you've got to fall into a rhythm. It's really hard to keep the beat, but not impossible. Easier to get than parries in Dark Souls, I could say that, 10 to 1. I couldn't resist. And now finally the step dodge. Which we already learned about, it's your standard circle button dodge. The dodge counterattack is honestly pretty powerful at this early stage of the game. Less so later on. Oh, that was sick. He's trying his best. We done? Yep, so now he's going to allow us to challenge him to a straight-up duel. I don't know how well I'll do at this because it's been so long, but let's give it a shot.
どうした？なぜそこまで？半分は退屈しのぎ。もう半分。
His moveset isn't that difficult to learn, as I'm sure you saw. His grab's really clearly telegraphed. He's only got a couple of sword strikes, otherwise we got this.
良いからやるぞ。では行くぞ。承知。
There's a couple different variations on this fight. Notice he's just a bit tougher now. But we were able to get that stamina pretty easily. Alright, bring it. Oh, that's not a grab, it's like a kick, I think. Come on, didn't throw us back at any point? Okay, once more, let's do it. We have anything else, or can we talk to him?
この社には行き場を失った者が集うようだ。俺、現にそれがしもここにおる。
He's got very good spirits for someone in his condition.
そこの賽銭箱にも時を。
Being granted, if I had, like, corporeal immortality, I'd probably be doing a little bit more than this with it, but still, he's doing alright. Okay. Nothing else for us? Not right now. Right? Can we talk to him again and... No. Okay, we'll have to come back later on. But yeah, that's Hanbei. He does have a small quest line associated with progress in his training missions and some related content. And I think you get a couple nifty rewards for completing it. This is an area with a shinobi wall that we can automatically flip over by, like, leaning against, but this one's... Somehow, this, like, rotating wood panel is locked from the other side, because Dark Souls. So we'll have to come back later. That will be very important, though, so keep it in mind, it'll be on the test. Now that we've got our prosthetic, we have a friggin' grappling hook, which will allow us to rappel to higher elevations and out of harm's way with a quick press of the left trigger anytime we're near something that we can grapple to, which we're going to need as the bridge here is out and never gets back in as far as I'm... Well, it might, actually. But I don't think it ever gets repaired as far as I'm aware. And here we're rewarded with yet another breathtaking skybox, something FromSoft's really good at, and a great view of the Ashina outskirts, the first zone we'll be working our way through. With that, friends, we are finally actually into this sucker. There's lots of Ashina Ashigaru roaming about. There's another sculptor's idol here, the Ashina Outskirts idol. And you can see, just like Dark Souls 3, things are separated by zone now. We also get this gorgeous-looking traditional style map that shows us like where the outskirts are versus the reservoir that we started the game at. This map will expand as we uncover more and more locales, so it'll zoom out and incorporate more places. Don't you worry. This entire game does not take place in Ashina. Here we have Ungo Sugar. It's a short-duration buff consumable. Sugar candy made in Senpo Temple, sustaining Ungo's blessing. Temporarily reduces vitality damage taken from physical attacks. Bite the candy and take the Ungo stance to impart its inhuman benediction. By doing so, you endure the excess karma of man from the spirits within. Senpo monks spread this candy across Ashina in honor of her military heroes, so it's just like a little gumdrop, basically, that I'm sure would taste heavenly, and also render you way less susceptible to sword attacks. So we don't want to give our location away if we can help it. As good as the game's combat is, it's always better to take somebody out from behind than have to take them on head-to-head, especially when we're this frail. You ain't gonna turn around at any point, are you? Oh no, there we go. Nice. Now, there we go. Most times you kill an enemy in this game, they'll drop loot, which, instead of having to press a button to pick up, you could just hold down the square button to slowly siphon in, like just vacuuming it up. Ceramic Shard, a piece of pottery that breaks with a satisfying crack when thrown. Throw it in an enemy to draw their attention. Throwing and smashing such pieces made for a popular sport amongst Ashina boys. Even after growing up, they remember the old games well. It's like the stones from Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Just useful to lure enemies. Kinda, sorta. I never really use them, though. We also earned some Sen, the rudimentary currency that we're going to use to buy very particular important items at certain points. Notice we've got so many different paths to take. Oh, the verticality. Love a little bit of the old stealth. Actually feels really good. More ceramic. Okay. I mean, we'd love something more substantial, but I'll take the money and the experience, certainly. Oh, now notice we've got guards at the gate here. Assume that'll be a past tense. We had guards at the gate. Terribly unobservant guards at the gate. We want to kill just about everything we can just to get, the skill points. Trust me, quite early on, there's going to be a boss that relies or assumes that you have obtained a really critical skill that's going to be very, very important through much of the game. And we kind of want to take them out with that skill if we can. Alright, now we're actually going to probably throw some hands. Oh. We've got, riflemen. Not to worry, though. We got this. Riflemen have next to no poise and can be taken out quite easily. And as I'm sure you saw, like on the little tooltip, we can deflect, or I think basically just block their projectiles. Absolutely awful if you don't see them coming due to their damage output, but so long as you're aware that they're there, you can manage them pretty competently. Did we miss anything over here? Up around this facility? No, but before long we're going to meet some of my favorite wildlife in the entire, like, little franchise. Dogs are still a thing in Ashina, and they're pretty nasty, but we can deal with them way more capably than we could, say, in Souls 3 or Bloodborne. But, their pride of place, at least in the early stages, is largely replaced by a different sort of enemy. Oh, but we do have dogs here. Might as well show off the dogs while we can. And yes, you can get stealth kills on the dogs. Or just do that. I mean, either or. We can also deflect the dog's teeth. It's badass. Yeah. Yeah, these guys are not bad at all compared to their counterparts earlier in the series. And notice already we have a second Sculptor's Idol. This is important because, oh my god, we are near another boss. And this one is very simple, but is going to take a little bit of practice on my part probably due to how weak we are at the start of the game, just the very beginning. But hey, maybe not. Maybe I've miraculously gotten better at this game after not playing. Seth says, all them bosses today. I know. Bosses are my favorite part of just about every game, and so psyched to play this game because it is filled to the brim with them. So near this dead nightjar, we've got a shuriken wheel, a mechanical device made by the mechanical genius Dogen. Can be fit into the shinobi prosthetic to become a working prosthetic tool, so basically a supplementary weapon. While it is palm-sized, a surprising number of shuriken can fit into the shuriken wheel, as the edges were designed for stacking. A fine example of what can be achieved when one matches mechanical finesse with the shinobi's talent. That, in my mind, is largely why the Sculptor's Idol is here. So we can head back to the temple, which we will do, and speak with the sculptor so he can convert this into a working tool for us, which will give us access to a special supplementary attack. In this case, just throwing a shuriken to deal a little bit of damage or knock an enemy off balance. Either or. The last couple of bosses in Mortal Shell I thought were really, really good. I did end up checking out Democracy's video, and it seems like our views and estimation of the bosses don't stack up remotely. He actually put the final boss ranked the final boss as the worst designed in the entire game, and put friggin' Grisha as second best, which I don't get at all, but fair enough, I guess. So here he's just informing us about, you know, all the wonderful things we can do with our magical transforming arm. Yeah, he's not exactly a lifelong dedicated sculptor, as will become increasingly evident. So by presenting the prosthetic, we can fit the new prosthetic tool, in this case creating the loaded shuriken. Pull a shuriken loaded into the wheel and launch it at a target in a single flowing motion. The swiftly thrown shuriken damages enemy vitality and posture, particularly against those with the tendency to take to the air. That's true. If you hit something in midair with a shuriken, it takes an insane amount of posture damage. Just throw one by pressing R2, as long as we've got something called a spirit emblem. These little tokens we can find scattered throughout the world, or that drop regularly from enemies. They're all over the place. Don't worry. Yep, so the more tools, the more equipment we find in the game, the more of these special, like, secondary attacks we unlock. And the more tools we have for breaking enemies' guard, or defending ourselves against their onslaughts. Now we can equip a prosthetic tool. Oh, and later on, we'll gain the ability to modify existing prosthetic tools. We got a couple spirit emblems, see? Don't worry, there's plenty of them. modify existing tools into different forms that we can switch between that have more specialized uses. So back to the outskirts wall. And let's get ready for that boss, which, again, might give me a little bit of pause, but still shouldn't be too tough on the whole. Fingers crossed. Dogs are still on guard, but we can do an airborne death blow. Yeah. Not the most aware dog, are you? Yes, give me your spirit emblem. Give me the energy of the dog. Actually, don't give me the energy of the dog. That's entirely too much energy, and I would be exhausted at the end of the day. No, thank you. So, oh, here's my favorite, rather random, hostile animal. The giant rooster. Hell chicken. There's a bunch of these everywhere, in the early game. And yeah, they just serve as like little animal sentries. They're not a serious threat, but they're there. Yay. They're different from the dogs, so gotta applaud the variety we have. More pellets, good. Trust me, we'll start burning through those at a certain point. You'll notice here we've got this little military encampment that's deserted, or all but deserted, save for this general here, who is our boss. We can pass right by him, but we want to take him on A, so old Brady can get a little bit more practice in against difficult enemies, and I may or may not die here a couple times, just for the record. But B, also so we can get his treasure. Now, lots of bosses out in the world you can actually get death blows on before the battle starts formally, taking one of their health bars out of the picture for the fight itself entirely, meaning we'll only have to get one death blow on him, but he's not going to make that easy. No, no, no. He has an expanded version of the leader's moveset, replete with a couple pretty difficult to dodge moves, or moves that would be difficult to dodge at this point, without a couple special skills. 1 second. Let's do this. General Naomori Kawarada. Yeah, so there's various types of attacks that we cannot block. We can deflect thrust attacks. There's also a much better way to deal with those later on. We can jump over sweep attacks, and then jump on our enemy's head, Mario style, to inflict a great deal of stamina damage. And we just have to get the hell out of the way of grabs. I think the general may be able to use all three, but he's definitely got a thrust and a sweep. That's what bad blocking looks like. Timing's way off. There we go. Now, the lower a character's vitality is, including us for the record, the slower their posture will recover. Oh, there's the sweep. I was actually able to read that. I'm quite shocked, actually. Oh, he was getting ready to center himself and regain his posture. Not a good idea to ever let an enemy do that. Yikes. Oh, we got it! We got it! Not the cleanest victory in the world, and I didn't deflect as many attacks as I'd like, but we got it, and we got a prayer bead. A loose prayer bead. Offering 4 of them at a sculptor's idol will increase maximum vitality and posture. And a gourd seed, which will give us an extra charge of the healing gourd. Seed from which healing waters continuously spring forth. So it's either blessed or just really greasy. Give to Emma to increase the maximum uses of the healing gourd. The twisted gourd of medicinal waters was known throughout Ashina since long ago, but it was the extraordinary healer Dogen and his pupil Emma who discovered the self-replenishing nature of this seed. Very nice. That's something I love about this game, as I said. You get something significant from every single boss and mini-boss as a reward for killing them, so you feel stronger every time you choose to take on a challenge. Like I said, we didn't have to do that. It would have been very easy just to sneak right around him and move on to this pretty tight stealth section. There's lots of guards here, including another one of Ashina's mutants, one of the Taro troopers. These, like, hulking shock troops that are implied to have been mutated through the forced consumption of, like, special persimmons. Yeah, I don't know either. Oh, we've potentially alerted the rifleman. Easy, easy, easy. Do your worst. You can't aim at us from over here. Or while we're over here, I should say. One thing you learned. Brady would be much better at stealth were he not so incredibly impatient. Okay, we can work around, right? Yes. Oh, thanks for checking on us, buddy. Man, they can spot us, like, from a mile off, but when we're right behind them cutting someone's throat, they can't hear a thing. Oh, we actually got shot. That sucks. He says in the understatement of the year. Now, the guy wearing the like, straw cloak is actually a bit tougher than your average Ashina trooper. And I take it back, there isn't a Taro trooper around here. I don't think. Oh, that's right, we can use the thrust attack to get around his guard. Silly me. Thank you, game. Oh, at least our ragdolls are back in park. Another one? Oh, that's the Taro trooper. There is one. Never mind. We're going to wait until he forgets about us, and we're going to finish him with a stealth blow, because I don't think we want to fight a giant with a mallet without any substantial healing item or anything right now. It's actually better not to deal or attempt to break the posture of the Taro troopers. Instead, just dodge them and wail on their butts until they lose all of their vitality. Again, this is how Ashina chooses to respond to modernization. Like, okay, you've got, like, modern lines of production and supply for a military. We've got magical we've got, like, magical rituals and arcane experimentation that are going to mutate a sizable portion of our populace into these grotesque monsters who think only of bloodlust and the like, because that is sustainable. It's like, just like, buy some gunpowder and cause some avalanches. It'd do you just as good. Mibu Balloon of Wealth. A Mibu balloon filled with fountainhead water, imbued with a blessing of wealth. If one pops the golden Mibu balloon and prays, Those its water splashes upon will acquire more coin for a period of time. Mibu means aquatic life, or life born of the water. The Ashina consider the fountainhead water itself to be worthy of worship. Yeah, so this is another, like, temporary buff consumable I probably won't use, but is cool to have. More ceramic, okay. People gotta take better care of their pots around here, I'm just saying. You'd think Link went off the wagon somewhere around here. Oh, is this guy just glitched out? Oh, that's a good ragdoll. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're saving that screenshot. Such a peaceful expression on his face. Oh, this one ain't much better. Oh god, the great ragdolls are back. They may even be a little bit worse in this game. Always a favorite part of any FromSoft playthrough. Okay. Now what kind of treasure do we have around here? The Taro Trooper had to be guarding something, right? I know there's nothing like super duper significant around here, I do remember that much, but even the little things can make a difference right around this point of the game. So here we have an NPC waiting with a quest for us. We'll say nothing. She seems to think we're... Oh no, we'll have to tell the truth. Oh, she's a little far gone though, see? And she's looking for the master, so she was one of the vassals of the Hirata, Koro's family. Oh, that bell is super important. Yep, and it is magic. And there's only one Buddha we can interact with so far, so we know exactly where to take this, don't we? Young Lord's Bell Charm. A bell charm received from an old woman who asked that it be offered to Buddha. Bell charms protect their holders through Buddha's divine protection. If one finds themselves the owner of another's bell charm, offering it to Buddha on their behalf is common courtesy. The sculptor at the dilapidated temple can advise on how it should be offered. So we'll go check with him in a bit. Yep, okay, thank you very much. Now we can find, I think, Inosuke somewhere around here, right? I think. Hell chicken. Thought it could camouflage itself, it could not. Alright, Nightsef, thank you so much for joining us. Let me know whenever you would like to keep going over on your stream. I will be happy to adjust my schedule if necessary. Ooh, secret. I should be free for the most part on Friday after 20-ish your time. Coin purse, more coin. That, actually, for the early game, and the first couple of vendors we're going to run into, is a whole hell of a lot of money. Which reminds me, we have to make sure we thoroughly explore all these gates we find around, because there's a merchant near one of them that, at least in my experience, was always super easy to pass up. So here's Inosuke, her actual son, and he's not doing too well, unfortunately. It's quite a tragic scene.
平田家の老頭だった。どうかそこのあばら屋の老婆の。
So this is the only other like really significant interaction we can have with him right now is like further encouragement to complete this quest, which trust me, we want to do.
誰が誰だか分かっておらぬ。お主の母に会ったぞ。鈴をもらった。そうか。礼を言う。母はその鈴をずっと気にかけていた。上ごとのように仏様に備えろと。
All right.
先ほどのご
Anything
承
else?
か。母の相手をしてくれ。かたじけない。母はその上ごとの。
Okay, that's it. So, no more dialogue from them for the time being, but that's a-okay. We got what we need, and next time we hit a sculptor's idol, we will head back to get not only that extra charge of the gourd, but to offer the charm to Buddha, which will give us access to some really cool stuff. And quite early into the game, we start getting really cool stuff as well. Quite like that. The game does take a little while to get going, but once it does, it just starts throwing stuff at you, good stuff at that, left, right, and center. Okay. So as you can see, the inclusion of like proper platforming and the grapple mechanic gives you loads of opportunities to take multiple different routes to complete objectives and the like. This is Gachin sugar, just suppresses your sound for a time. Not super duper useful because we can be about as stealthy as we want to be from the get-go, and there's ways to become even sneakier later on. Like, without having to use a sugar or anything like that, I mean. This LP may or may not include, like, copious amounts of jumping off of ledges and plummeting over gorges, because I'm just so good at platforming. Notice this guy's just hefting a massive cannon. Or, sorry, this, I think this woman, possibly. This, is a member of the hidden, or the clan of the Hidden Valley. A group of extremely talented gunsmiths who mostly or entirely seem to be leprous and are affiliated somewhat loosely with Ashina. Like, they're helping defend the castle against outsiders, if only because their home, the Hidden Valley or the Sunken Valley or whatever, is in this region as well. So we take them down, and trust me, we do not want to be on the receiving end of that cannon at this stage of the game. And we get an upgrade material that can be used to refine some of our tools. Black grains forming the base for gunpowder. Material used in alchemical prosthetic tool upgrades, including those of an explosive and occultic nature. Even the most mundane form of gunpowder has a wide variety of applications. Indeed, indeed. We just got a pinch of black gunpowder. We'll be getting much better stuff later on, but for the time being, it can be pretty useful. How much gold did they give us? Oh, 18. It's not too bad. Pellets. Nice. Again, we want to be fighting just about everyone we can at this stage of the game to make sure we get those skill points. Probably don't want to fight 3 of them at once. Now 2 at once, that's something we can manage. Probably. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Again, I'm not super good at, like, the deflection game, but when you nail it just right, so you, like, start falling into this deadly dance of blades clanging up against and bouncing off of each other, with the momentum swinging back and forth between you and the enemy. It is exhilarating, man. Okay, I think the merchant's on the other side of that gate. Let's put that hypothesis to the test as we make sure we didn't... Oh, we were about to miss something over here, though. This whole little side path. What? No! Oh! Whoops. We grappled ourselves from the wrong direction. My bad. We don't die automatically, though. We just lose a big old chunk of health. In fact, we'll take a pellet. Why not? Okay, and now from here, we'll jump down here. Grab some Mibu Possession Balloon. Higher chance of obtaining items, sure. Couple Mibu Possession Balloons. Nice. Pellet heals just a little bit of health. So these markers with a downward pointing triangle in them indicate points that we can't grapple to, but we can kind of use to swing ourselves along. Notice also a giant strand of, like, faded gray snakeskin hanging from the tree. That's not going to play into the game later. Not at all. No, sir. Oh, damn it. I missed the item description. Sorry. More upgrade material. Scrap iron, I think. Yeah, iron dregs mined in Ashina. Widely used for basic reinforcement. Ashina is burdened with thick snow and infertile land, but the scrap iron dug from her soil is anything but crude. Yeah, iron metals, or Ashina metalsmithing is pretty good, as I understand the world building. Okay, this might take us around the fortress. Oh, let's give it the old college try. Hup. Oh my god, it does. Yet another area I think we can largely skip if we're so inclined. Oh, that is the second time that's happened, and my heart enjoyed neither. Yep, I know exactly where this is spitting us out. We don't want to do this, actually. This just allows us to skip something pretty important. That merchant, like I said, and maybe a couple other things. I don't know. My memory of this game is pretty solid, but not perfect. We got most of the stuff here, didn't we? Yep, there's our merchant. Okay. Anything along these cliffs? And do we have a skill point yet? Oh, yeah, we do. Right on. We can actually use those before long, then. So in this little courtyard, we can first off use, I guess, our super shinobi senses to touch remnants of the past and view kind of these ghosts of the past. In this case, Kuro and Emma.
もうほとんど残っておりません。そうですか。すまぬ。流人を狙う者は絶えぬ。平田の者たちを私が巻き込んでしまった。
Right. I don't think there's any benefit to interacting with the ghosts aside from getting some additional context and maybe a trophy for getting all of them. But nice to have. So here's our first merchant. Yeah, he says he knows us. But, well, we don't know him. This actually ties into the next quest line we're about to get really well. Like, really, really well.
銭がないから品もない。そこで旦那、あっしにちーとばかし銭を用立てていただけやせんか。それを元手に旦那にもきっと役立つ品を仕入れやす。それからおまけにあの世のこと話して差し上げます。
Right, so by giving him some money, we'll expand his
悪
inventory.
い話じゃねえ。
It's actually worth it. Just 10 coins. Yeah, we can pay 10 easily.
旦那、ありがてえ。
話してくれ。
ああ、もちろんでさ。あの世、あっしらは平田の屋敷に押し入りやした。平田はご存知の通り、芦名の運慶。ちんけな野党なんざ、普通は返り討ちです。
This is all quite important.
先だっての戦の折だ。若い侍はほとんど出払ってたんでさ。そこを狙って押し入りやして、そんで火をつけ奪った。
Yeah, so they attacked the Hirata at what seemed to be exactly the right time. And then, as a result of the Hirata estate being, like, devastated, and the family's household being reduced to nothing, I think then Koro and the survivors had to seek asylum with the Ashina, under their current leader, Ishin Ashina, not Genichiro. Ishin is extraordinarily old and quite ill right now, so he can't do much of anything about what his grandson's doing across the country. Alright, so he offers info. I mean, we'll pay for it, sure.
なんたって旦那は忍びでさ。忍びの道具の頼む。あっし、すげえ勢いで火が出る筒を見かけ。平田屋敷の押し入りの。
We're gonna skip through this because I think I've seen this. Yeah, there we go. So he'll just give us directions to shinobi tools like this. I don't know, he should sell items. Okay, so he'll have items in the future. Okay. Alright, well at least we've got a lead on another shinobi tool. But it was at an estate years and years ago. Gee, I wonder how we're going to access that. Oh. Oh, Hell Chicken. Oh, Hell Chicken, no! The most noble of duels. Okay, so there's a couple ways to deal with this encounter, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to manage it this time. The upcoming encounter is not super difficult, but we've got, like, no resources to take it on. And yeah, for the record, I'm pretty sure it's another boss. So cool and so quick. There we go, that's right, that's right. The sculptor's idol is a thing here. Well, let's just use this to warp out for now. Up we go. And now we can travel back to the dilapidated temple. We've already got 4 idols, imagine that. There's a ton of them in this game, though, so don't worry if you think we're moving quickly. We're not, it's just a game chock full of bosses and cool stuff. And I think, given FromSoft's formula, they do much better creating, like, a bunch of, like, really cool and distinct boss and mini-boss fights instead of, say, just a bunch of regular enemy encounters with a smaller number of bosses. We've got new training with Hanbei, so let's take care of that. Sure. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff. Consecutive deflections, sure. This might take a minute. Yep, so when enemies come at us with a combo strikes, we can block again and again. Or deflect again and again to just absolutely ruin their day. There's a couple bosses that more or less require us to do this. And if we can't get those rapid deflections, one after the other, after the other, after the other, the fight will be effectively impossible. Fatality and posture. You know, the thing we already know about, but okay. Perform 3 death blows. That's it? Okay. Yeah, so they're trying to teach that, hey, the lower an enemy's vitality, the slower their posture recovers. This is actually super important for boss fights, because what we want to do in so many of those is reduce the enemy's vitality just enough to where we can leave them be for a minute, without them getting all of their posture back. Oh, he actually got us with that kick that time. Nice. And of course, if you manage to just drain an enemy's vitality, then you're also able to get a death blow. No big deal. Countering thrust attacks. Here we go. We're going to have to deflect these perfectly. Ow. This is not the way I usually deal with thrust attacks. Most of the time, I use a skill that we can acquire very, very soon. Timing's really tight on those, which is why I prefer doing it literally any other way. The skill basically gives you an alternate way to deflect those that has a very generous allotment of time. So sweep attacks, just jump over them and then jump on your enemy. Observe. And from that, airborne death blow that looks so cool. Like, flipping them with the legs is... Oh. The action and animation in this game looks stunning. Just makes a really solid feeling combat system stand out all the more, I think. Come on. Whoops. Kind of went crazy there and jumped off of the shrine by accident. There we are. That's going to be really important because more than grabs, I would say, bosses really love their swipes and thrusts. So knowing how to deal with each of them is super important. Okay, we've got applied free combat, so more difficult. One down. Next. Okay, that's 2. One more. I want to say we should get some kind of reward for completing all of his lessons, but I could be wrong. And we just got a mulligan that time, basically. Nice. Sorry, I'm skipping through some of this because there's so much. Hey, MC, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while, man. MC says, fighting like an anime ninja, love it. Yeah, no, it's really, really good stuff. Now we can go talk to Emma and get a second use of our gourd. Super important.
幻。
ああ、九郎様は今はどこにいる？
アシナの死。
MC says, yeah, been busy 7 days to die evenings. Yeah, y'all are getting a lot of mileage out of that and doing pretty good in terms of viewership, I think.
そうか。
Okay. Let's
ひょう
let's get that gourd seed.
これか。
はい。それをこちらに。
So I do appreciate that there's more of a more fleshed out plot and narrative in this game, but God almighty is there a lot of talking. Like, for a game that has good characterization, but not characterization so intriguing as to be really compelling.
薬だ。
妙。
As I said, though, most of it is like concentrated near the beginning of the
悪い
game.
気はしません。それが我が師。
そうか。
ひょうたんの種を見つけた薬水のかさ増しをしま
Yep,
しょう。
just bring her gourd seeds. We get more gourd charges, just like the Estus flask.
この鈴だろう。仏に備えろと渡された。
MC says dialogue but little depth. Kinda, sorta. It's just there's a lot of dialogue, and because it's done in a Souls-like style, it moves kinda slowly. This is purely personal preference. I like games with really involved plots and lots of dialogue and things like that, but the gameplay here is so good, I just want to get into it. Speaking of, Mortal Shell. Short game, but absolutely phenomenal. Since you're really interested and operate within the space of design, MC, I think you should go check out those VODs when you have the time, because some of the boss and encounter design is friggin' incredible. There's not, like, a whole lot of volume to the game, but what's there is really high quality. Okay, so if we offer the bell to Buddha... MC says, I watched here and there, but yeah, I need to catch up. The final boss was absolutely brilliant, but man, from a narrative or from a story perspective, it hurt. It was the one thing I didn't want to fight. So yeah, by offering this bell up to Buddha, we will gain the ability to revisit the events that transpired during the raid of the Hirata estate years ago. Somehow. Narratively, this is a little strange, but from a gameplay perspective, it means we get to sort of relive these events, gain additional prayer beads and gear, and at least a couple really useful shinobi prosthetic tools, and fight what to many players is one of the hardest bosses they ever experienced in their Soulsbourne careers, at least the first time. So yeah, just as the merchant said, a massive fire has been set in the main fortress complex, and we need to make our way over there. MC says, I seem to remember a link between bells and memories in Japanese culture. I believe so, yes. And we'll come across a few such bells in the game, but this is the only one that I'm aware of that actually sends you to an entirely different zone with its own bosses and things like that. It's a beautiful little area. Well, I say little, it's pretty big. And our main humanoid enemies here are going to be bandits, which, fortunately for us, are nowhere near as robust as even the Ashina Ashigaru. Many of them don't have armor, or they've got, like, really cheap or rusty second-hand armor, and they can't wield their weapons near as dexterously as, like, the standard foot soldiers could. We have a wounded Nightjar here. We'll just ask what happened. Asking what year it is kind of a strange way to force a man to spend his last minutes. Also, because I've totally forgot, I need to order a copy of Crash Bandicoot 4. which I will in fact do right now as we take in this dialogue. Comes out very, very soon.
流線モーデ3年前か。どういうことだ。武士殿は古い記憶と言った。何も覚えてはおらぬが、これは過去ということか。
Yeah, so Wolf doesn't remember a great deal of this, but he's somehow able to interact with the past regardless. Very strange, but of course the real point is to give us that loot. What do we have here? MC says the subtitles are pretty accurate from what I can understand. Oh yeah, and you could use an English audio track if you prefer, but I feel like since this is a game set in Japan and influenced extensively by like late-era medieval Japanese culture, this is the way to go. Dowsing powder, medicine for treating burns. Heals the burn status abnormality and for a time decreases burn buildup, increases burn resistance, and reduces damage from incoming burn attacks. When fire is doused on the battlefield, or when fire is used on the battlefield, dowsing powder is critical for survival. Fire is something we're not going to have to deal with in a huge volume until the very late game. MC says always go for VO, I agree. Yeah, I go for whatever usually makes the most sense for the setting, or whatever the devs intended the game to be played with. And in this case, it's quite clear that the Japanese voice track is what was intended to be used. But from what little I've heard, the English voice cast is perfectly good as well. Like, you know, on par for Dark Souls. So these are the brigands. They're not super dangerous, except at range or in large numbers. And I prefer fighting them to the Ashigaru right now because I'm a coward. You may notice a fish in the water. That is a treasure carp. You can kill it to gain a treasure carp scale. A sparkling scale from a treasure carp. To the average person, it's just a beautiful scale. But there are some who exalt a certain master who consider these scales among the most precious things in the world. For this reason, collecting them could be worthwhile. Yep, treasure carp are kind of like this game's equivalent to the crystal lizards, and by killing them and claiming their scales, we can trade them in for certain special items and gifts from a couple merchants, the pot nobles. Like this one. Be right with you, sir. Damn you, treasure carp. Later on, we'll gain the ability to, like, dive beneath the surface of the water, and that'll make this much easier, but I just wanted to get a couple scales to begin with. More coin. Nice. We'll take it. Notice, he's not quite human. He's not from around Ashina. So, he wants carp scales, and he has a few different things he can give us in exchange. Divine Grass, this game's equivalent of, what was it? Divine Remedy, I think, from Dark Souls. The Withered Red Gourd, a curved withered red gourd filled with medicinal water. The gourd's medicine refills upon rest, reduces burn buildup, and slightly increases burn resistance. So this is really cool. You get basically another Estus flask with recharges every time you rest, that acts as a cure and a buff against certain status effects. And these exist for every status effect in the game, bar one, I think. The fragment of an old dancer's mask, that one needs a lot of scales. And this one, Compendium on the Combat Art Floating Passage, unleashes attacks in a flowing dance-like form, overwhelming enemies in a furor of graceful aggression. This technique belongs to the Ashina Sword School, though it has been deemed heretical due to its foreign origin. So we probably want to save up for the special move and maybe the mask fragment. The gourd would be a nice third choice, and we never want to spend scales on Divine Grass. We can find enough of that on our own. But those are your options. There's one more pot noble we can find much later in the game. Hello, dog. Oh. I'm sorry, did you just kick dirt in our face? I don't remember that being a thing. But cool. Oh, right, I forgot. I can't dodge thrust attacks that way. Man, playing this without all my skills is going to be really difficult. Mibu possession. Nice. Guard with a torch. We might want to run our way around and take him on. We're not far from the first idol of the estate. Shuriken will also just, like, beat the piss out of dogs, like whether they're airborne or not. This game basically just allows you to get revenge for the Souls trilogy in Bloodborne because its dogs are actually usually pretty manageable. They're even weaker than Hell Chicken, believe it or not. Down it goes. Oil, just plain oil. When the jar breaks, oil covers everything nearby. Enemies doused in oil are easily set alight, causing them to take additional vitality damage from fire attacks and making them more susceptible to burn. Right, that's gonna be way more important to us than it ever is to the enemies. I promise you that. Like I said, not a lot of enemies or attacks in this game that will inflict burn on us, but boy oh boy do we have a couple really interesting ways to light other people on fire. More ceramic that we will certainly have a use for one day, I promise you. The estate path, we still can't upgrade our skills, damn it. Oh wait, no, we need to rest. So we can get our second gourd. And our health topped back up. There we go. This is a really, really great game, and as I said, its focus on boss fights alone puts it over the top for me. I'd say I enjoy it more than Bloodborne, and possibly about as much. It's like apples to oranges, they're so different, but maybe about as much or a little more than Dark Souls 3. Maybe a little more, actually. Akko Sugar is an attack buff. That's the one sugar we might actually want to use, at least in the early game. We got a few bandits. Hold up over here. Oh dear, they saw us. Oh well. Let's take them. Oh, Jesus Christ, one of them had a bow. Didn't see that coming. Run in well. Jesus Christ! Okay, that was a bad idea. But now we get to learn about the resurrection mechanic. Through the power of Koro's dragon blood, we get to revive ourselves at least once per actual life. So we could just get right up off the ground and keep fighting. Resurrect. My god, this one's fast on the draw. Shit! Shit! Ah, got totally overwhelmed there, meaning we lost a bunch of XP, probably. And there ain't exactly a good way to get that back. We were right at the precipice of a new level, too. Which I guess doesn't make much difference when we can't upgrade ourselves yet. Yeah, see, we lost half our coin and 245 XP. One criticism a lot of folks had of this game, and I share it, is the punishment for death is a little exorbitant. Go on, turn around, there we go. We'll try clearing that courtyard out another way. There we are. I think these guys and the ones with the torches are the only ones who really use burn, like, at all. Nice try. There we go. At least we're getting some of that junk back. Along with plenty of dowsing powder. MC says, I think that considering that they give you an extra life, the price to pay on death needs to be pushed up. Yeah, but half your coin and a huge chunk of your experience with no way to get it back is still a bit much. Especially since, I can tell you from playing most of the game before, the game is certainly balanced in terms of its, like, combat encounters to take the fact that you can resurrect, into account. You're just about as frail in this as you would be running a very, very specialized dex build in Dark Souls, like 3. So, no, it's not like you're super durable and harder to take down. You're not. You're much easier in many regards. Certain bosses and enemies are too, if you know what you're doing. But this is all about fast and furious combat. It is not Dark Souls. Better this time. Yeah, get rid of the guy with the torch first. There we are. That's got him. Now there should be one more around here, right? Or did we get them all? You can see they've done a real job on the place. But all we're interested in here right now is the loot. And I guess if you want to get, like, all narrative about it, technically saving Kuro, but I'm here for the loot. Oh yeah, there is one more. Just hanging out in the back room. Doing nothing. Down he goes. Pellets? Couple pellets. That's nice. We want to wait, to use a ton of those until later, because we can get some passive upgrades that'll increase the potency of our pellets, and our gourd as well. Like, let's wait to use the consumables until they'll actually be super useful, yeah? Is this the courtyard? Oh no, those are just dogs. He's coming to investigate. He tried. That animation is so cool. This game is stylish. This is, even by FromSoft standards, very, very stylish. Ah, the guy with the fire barrel is here. Just starting a bonfire with it, because why not? Well, we can make much better use of that, I promise you. Generally want to get rid of those with torches and axes first. And look at this one guy just drinking away while everybody else jumps to alert. I like him. Kinda sorry I had to kill him. Oh. Well, Y'all tried. At least we're getting some experience pretty quickly, at the least. The Flame Barrel. An iron barrel that spews fire. It's difficult to control the rage-filled red eyes with the power of man alone. However, a fire-based weapon could be a means of resisting them. They're said to fear fire above all else. Yes, yes. So, just giving you a quick hint, that'll be particularly useful against a certain type of enemy. Animals too. I'm fairly certain animals don't do well with the fire whenever you have to fight them. This game handles the concept of, like, really aggressive, initiative-based combat a lot better than Bloodborne does, I would argue. Maybe not in so multifaceted a way, but it does really well with what it's got. Just some spirit emblems in here, nothing else? Okay. Okay. Up we go. Let's see what we missed back on the main drag. Opens from the other side, right? Yep. So let's go open it from that side then. Got everyone? Got everything? Yep. Not bad at all. Oh, someone else to talk to. Yet another dying retainer. Yep, so now we've been directed to yet another tool that's present here. Tool number 2 of 3 in the Harada estate, I want to say. The axe. The axe is really useful for, like, destroying shields or breaking enemy guards and the like. It's a situational use item, to be sure, but it's really useful, at least in the early game. Alright, let's open up this gate. Gokon Sugar. Yet another buff. I think we've seen either all the buffs or all but one. Yeah, no, there's one more type of sugar, I think. And it's like a modified attack buff. MC says Dark Souls, every NPCs die edition. I wish. No, a lot of the NPCs will stick around and have plenty to say through the entire game. Just everybody here's dying. Whoa, what happened to our hit detection there, bud? Oh, the shinobi axe is right there in that little shrine. There's one of these courtyards we can find later that have just been completely overrun by Hell Chicken. Alright, we got the torchbearer first. So notice a perfect deflection on these guys doesn't do a whole lot. Even though I'm not getting a ton of them, when I do, it does nothing to their posture. I think it's because you're intended to just wail on their vitality instead. So yeah, we're not supposed to steal from Buddha, but we can certainly, like, I guess, protect relics entrusted to him, or dedicated to him. Shinobi Axe of the Monkey, a heavy black iron axe used by shinobi. This boorish axe is used less for cutting and more for breaking things with its weight. Once the favored weapon of a shinobi known as the Bounding Monkey of the Sunken Valley. That's where all the gunsmiths are from. Sunken Valley, not Hidden Valley. It was lost along with his left arm. Good, so this and the flame vent are going to be a huge, huge help moving forward. Coin. Want to unlock our skill trees ASAP. Do we have any of them right now? No, we don't. Oh, there's the Hell Chicken courtyard, right over here. I mean, this is strange even by Sekiro standards, but yeah, let's do it. Let's throw down with a bunch of Hell Chickens. I don't entirely remember what they're guarding, if anything. They seem to just wipe the floor with the brigands. Oh, got another skill point. Very nice. And another pellet. Anything else out around here? Anything at all? Huh. Would have thought there'd be more, but alright. Nothing in the well? This area reminds me an awful lot of the first mission. Oh, there we go. Up on top of the mansion. Or, not mansion, but the little outbuilding. Reminds me a lot of the first proper mission of Neo. Set in kind of a similar remote village and estate. Those are really good games we may need to play together on stream at some point. Neo 2 in particular is just a thing of beauty.
Oh, ここを開けやがれ。こそこそと隠れてんのは分かってんだ。おとなしく投降しないと痛い目見るぞ。聞こえてんのか。ああ。
So we'll actually be back to deal with them later. Right now we're going to head off to the shrine and teleport back to the temple so we can fit our new shinobi tools. Since we cleared out all of those courtyards, it seems like a good time to do so. And then we'll be able to take on the next boss waiting for us in Ashina and hopefully get our hands on some upgrade materials, or the skill books, I should say. Which, while I'm at it, let me see how long, or what we need to do to get those. Ah, okay, now that we have enough for a single skill, we can talk to the sculptor, and he will, like, give us, I think, the first 2 skill trees. And then we'll need to find another, I want to say 3 or 4 scattered out around the world, each focusing on a different kind of martial style. Yep, here we go. And we got 3 skill points, so we can toughen the old wolf up just a little bit. Shinobi Esoteric Text. A book of secrets that details a variety of techniques employed by shinobi. Grants the ability to learn shinobi-style skills. Within this text are the innermost secrets of the shinobi arts, such as attacks performed in the air and hiding one's body to avoid detection. Such moves could never be practiced by samurai.
侍には真似できぬ。忍びの戦う術が書いてある。まあ、どうするかはお前さん次第よ。戦う術
There's some really useful stuff in this skill tree, so it's a good thing we have it. Yeah, there we go. Let me see, 1 second. Now we can use this to get some of the good stuff. At a sculptor's idol, of course. Oh, wait, while we're here. Let's make sure to, now we're just talking about the pilgrimage. The great Buddha seemed fit to awaken old memories within you. Now we can get our new tools on. The loaded axe. A prosthetic tool loaded with a heavy shinobi axe. The strength of the loaded axe lies in its heft. One strike can easily turn a wooden shield into splinters or shred an enemy's posture. Very true. And this thing, I love this thing. Deals fire damage to enemies via a short-range blast of fire while also inflicting burn status. It is difficult to control the rage of those with red eyes through the power of man alone. They do, however, fear the flame above all else. This tool has the power to make them tremble. MC says, I need to delve deeper into this game, but at the moment I feel pulled off the universe of this game. What do you mean? Like, not particularly invested? Or you enjoy it, you don't? Oh, he's giving us something else. There we go. Prosthetic esoteric text. A book of secrets that details a variety. MC says, like, elements between gameplay and story collide. I actually find that at least through my initial playthrough, gameplay and narrative are integrated quite well. The only issue is, like a lot of, like, old school RPGs, actually, this one just starts so slowly. But once we kind of pass this little introductory section, it's great, and everything we do in the game makes narrative sense, by and large. It's good stuff. Written by a man who abandoned the path of the shinobi, but could not bring himself to discard his painstaking research. He never expected to pass these on to anyone else. So it's the sculptor's own book of secrets. These techniques in general are a little bit less useful, I find, than those in the shinobi branch, but they're neat, nonetheless. Okay, thank you. And now, when we equip multiple prosthetic tools, we can swap between them with a simple press of the triangle button. See? And we'll go with the flame vent, because it is objectively the best one right now. What else? Is there anything else we want to throw into a quick slot? Nope. We want to get some skills. I do appreciate the use of a traditional skill tree instead of a leveling system as well, by the way. Acquire skills. There's the one. There's the one that's going to make the first boss battle in the Hirata estate manageable for us. But in prosthetic arts, we have a charging slash. Okay, that's fine. Or a grappling hook attack, basically allowing us to transition immediately from a swing into a slash. It's alright. Whirlwind Slash is the first combat art we can find in the game. This is a special move that consumes spirit emblems to use sometimes, but is a heavy special attack performed by holding down, I want to say, R1 and L1? A spinning attack that can hit several enemies at once. The sharp cut combined with the force of the spin can strike multiple foes and deal damage even when guarded. When surrounded by enemies, the shinobi technique can cut open a path to victory. That's well and good, but we want the Makiri counter. Enables one to counter enemy thrust attacks by stomping down on an enemy's weapon, dealing a large amount of posture damage. That's an understatement. This destroys an enemy's posture, even in-game bosses. It's nearly impossible to perceive the speed of a thrust, but not for sharp eyes of a shinobi, so by dodging straight into a thrust attack, we can, catch an enemy's blade and send it to the ground. MC says this game might be borrowing ideas from a manga. Dororo is an old manga, and kind of the first attempt to make a story for adults. I think I'm familiar with it, actually. Because I think when I first streamed this game, a year and a half ago, during an initial foray into Twitch, somebody may have mentioned that. The similarities in our chat. Run and slide. Allows one to slide into a crouched position while sprinting, sprint through an area and slide into cover or otherwise out of view. Yeah, we'll go for that. Also because I kind of want to see what's over here. Increases the damage inflicted to posture upon executing a successful Makiri counter. We definitely want that. Just totally eradicate any sound we emit. That's the one, kids. That's the skill I need. I need this skill. Recovers vitality upon performing a successful death blow, meaning every time we finish an enemy, we get back a big chunk of health. This is it right here. We need that. We need that. We're working to that. We are purchasing absolutely nothing else until we can use that. So, now, MC says it has a story about killing demons within a feudal society with the character having artificial parts. Yeah, no, I'm familiar. I definitely know that story then. There was a recent anime adaptation that was really great. There was apparently, like a PS2 game based on the property that was released back in the day that was also really good for what it was. Now we can actually take the bosses in Hirata. Save for the big boss. The big boss of this area is kind of notorious for just ruining new players' times with the game. It's just really hard, and not exactly intended to be fought as the first major boss a player goes up against. Second or third, maybe, but not first. But unfortunately, it's the first one a lot of folks find. MC says, so glad it's not only me seeing similarities. Oh, it's definitely not. Oh, I missed it. Damn it all. Damn it. Missed a great opportunity to show off the Mikiri counter. We'll get more, don't you worry. Let's try that again. We can also perform those, like, stronger counter slashes just out of a sprint. Oh my god, this guy's really going at it. I do not remember their swordsmen having quite such a long combo. I mean, I'm sure they always did, and I just forgot, but... Oh, jeez. Oh, wait, no, my bad. I'm confusing these guys with very similar looking and armored brigands from Neo. Damn it all! Why don't I do any posture damage? There we are. Pop a pellet, why don't we? God, the pellet heals just a pitiful amount of health at this stage of the game. Blech. We are not far from the boss at all. Good. Now what's in these courtyards to the side? Oh, well, if you'll notice, there is the merchant we met in the future.
Oh, Danna! あんたも火事場泥棒ですかい? 旦那は見たとこ忍びですかね? 何か探し物でも?
I think he's going to point us to the third and final shinobi tool present here.
先に見つけた場所でさ.
One I never actually used much at all during my initial playthrough.
そういえばどっかの崖上に三重の塔が見えやしたぜ。あんだけご立派な塔だ。きっと中にはお宝がしまわれてるに違いねえ。足ならそう思いやすね。
There is indeed a treasure in there, but it's guarded by someone really powerful. MC says, I would like if the subtitle would translate shinobi into mercenary. Well, in his case, Wolf's case anyway, he's kind of not. The shinobi present in this game actually occupy a variety of roles, and he's closer to a legitimate vassal of a minor noble. Oh, this is nice. Small Buddha effigy bound in red cloth, raised in prayer between one's palms to restore a node of resurrective power. To enswath the Jizo statues to express feelings of paternal love. The bundle of cloth is to at least ensure that the little one goes on in peace. In other words, we get an extra life anytime we want it. Yay. we'll be holding on to that for some time.
どうか動かないでください。傷に触ります。
Oh, was that Emma? With someone, perhaps? Yeah, here's the boss, the shinobi hunter. He's not exactly highly skilled, he's just a warrior monk who attacks with really quick thrusts and practically nothing else. Meaning, if we don't have the Mikiri counter, we've got to get really, really, really good at deflecting thrust attacks perfectly. Which is something that for the longest time I had no idea you even could do.
肝心な時におらぬとんだ役立たずね。いや、もしやお主賊を手引いたのではあるまいな。さもなくばこの平田屋敷がこうもあっけなく落ちようものか。そうよ。いねえ。裏切り者はいねえ。
Yeah, so the stress of this situation is kind of getting to people. Okay. Nothing else to be done there. But is there anything to be looted around here? That's the important question. Oh wait. There's yet more dialogue.
族ではない。
あなたは若様の。あ、よかった。忍び殿、族どもの目的は若様です。あやつらはすでに竹林坂上にいたり、若様の脱出も叶わなかった。
So now we've got to save Kuro in the past. Even though we already have. Just roll with it. It gets us more experience and loot. Oh, she gives us an antidote. Powerful antidote concocted by the Sunken Valley clan. Heals status abnormality and temporarily increases poison resistance. Magnetite deposits are found in the Sunken Valley, but the place is dangerously toxic. Antidote powder is essential for anyone attempting to mine the ore. Nice. Oh, gave us 2 pinches of it. That will actually come in handy later on, I promise you. Well, now that we're done here, let's make our way a bit closer to the Flaming Estate. We're actually going to need the axe here because a couple of the guards up ahead have wooden shields that make fighting them a real pain unless we can just splinter their guards. Like so. Just like that, but actually hitting the opponent. Like so. Notice when we shatter their shield, they are immediately made vulnerable to a death blow. Very nice. And I think... No, we can't go that way, so we can't get to the pagoda from here, but we will reach like a little, riverbed, or, sorry, just a river pathway that we can use to access the pagoda later on. This is just a way around the boss fight. We don't want to go around the boss fight, we want to go straight through it, because the shinobi hunter just so happens to have a prayer bead on him. As, you know, being a monk, that actually makes sense. Whoops. So there's a few guards here in addition to the warrior monk. That's him over there with the spear. We want to wait to, like, properly aggro him, so we can get a stealth death blow in. You'll notice, in this game, archers and ranged combatants in general have pretty solid aim and incredible range. Archers are actually a whole lot worse than riflemen. There's a couple more of them up there. made it. Nice and easy now, nice and easy. Now from here we could take out the other two. Yep, so now it's time for a thrust attack extravaganza. Oh hell, I'll try it with 2 health bars. What's the worst that can happen? We die over and over and over again. This guy was really tough for me my first time. There's a Makiri counter, hell yeah. Yeah, baby. Oh, that was a sweep. Look at you. Nasty. Round 2. Ooh, man, I was clearly off base there. You can see if we didn't have the Makiri counter, he could mess us up pretty easily. We would have to deflect all of these and deflect them perfectly. Instead of just going ham on it, like so. A loose prayer bead. That's 2 of 4 pieces of heart. Man, after how many times he killed me my first time through, because I didn't know the Makiri counter was a thing, and didn't have it, you cannot believe how good that feels. Taking down both health bars pretty easily. I mean, not perfectly, but we did it. Nice and simply. MC says, I think what's pulling me away from the experience is the attempt of applying a historically grounded environment, but leaving the game more in the vein of fantasy. Well, you've got to consider for so many, like, histories, and particularly historiographies of, like, the experience of different peoples, those things, like the border between, like, the surreal, or the fantastic, and the mundane, or the grounded, are not concrete. That there is a great deal of wonder and supernaturalism and things like that in scores of national histories the world over. And this is leaning quite heavily into mythology, because the game is set in a remote region of Japan where it is assumed, right, it's presented to us, a lot of the fantastical, magical elements of the world still reside. One of those places relatively untouched. And that's why Ashina, as we're going to see before long, is kind of as frightening as it is. We're going to get Whirlwind Slash just because it's a step on the way to Breath of Life. We're going to need, 7 skill points for this one. Now, of course, I could see why the fantasy, or the mingling of fantastical and non-fantastical elements could be a turn-off for some people. I actually really, really like it. But it's just like a to-your-taste kind of thing. Here we've got a massive encampment of bandits. Jeez. Give me your experience. All of the experience. I forgot about this. Yeah, so the one thing about Hirata Estate, they give you a whole lot of measures to defend against burning damage, which is cool, I guess. But the real problem is almost everyone here is an archer or has 2 or 3 archers around them. As far as physical damage goes, or melee combat, nothing is a threat here. There's a Taro trooper up ahead that might be difficult, but that's about it. MC says, yeah, once again, my biology nerd cannot deal with these motions. I just think the game looks stylish as all hell myself. I'm sure it's incredibly unrealistic, but man, does it look good. I think we can access the pagoda from here, but we are almost certain to get our ass handed to us if we try right now. So there's the Taro Trooper. We almost definitely want to sneak around and get some kind of death blow on him, because he's going to mess us up if we don't. At this level, anyway. The attacks ain't super hard to dodge, but if they hit home for us right now, it's game over. He's not alone either. He's got some friends. Got quite a few friends, in fact. I'll check my computer to take care of them first. Yeah. Oh wait, he's still just kind of lumbering around looking for us. Very nice. Let's show off the flames then. Oh, jeez. It had no effect on him. That's right, that's right. This isn't the one I'm thinking of that will just totally mess up a Taro Trooper. There's another shinobi tool that does wonders against them. So, as you can probably tell, you're not really going to drain their posture. You've got to work on wearing down the vitality. Well, no, we almost got it. Never mind. Ooh. Got him. And got a skill point. Righteous. 1/7 of the way to my favorite upgrade. I want to go try the fight for the thingy now. No, I don't. I want to get another sculptor's idol first. So let's pass through this beautiful burning estate really quickly. And run into whom? But, oh no, it's our adoptive father, the owl. And he too, since this is Hirata Estate, is dying. Of course.
父上お前か不覚を取ったこのわしも置いたものだ手当てはよいこの傷ではもはや助からぬそれより狼よこれを
Hidden Temple Key. The key to the hidden temple in the Hirata Estate, given by the owl. The secret temple is located in the very back of the Hirata Estate. 2. The Lord is absolute. Defend him with your life. If he is taken, bring him back at any cost. A clause of the Iron Code of the Shinobi.
巫女様はそこにだがこの火の手じゃ正面からは入れぬ崖外からならばそうじゃあちらから外へ出て崖沿いに進み霊園から回り込めさすれば抜け道がわかりました狼よ忍びの掟は
So we're gonna keep going to the next sculptor's idol, then go back to the pagoda for that shinobi tool, and then we'll call it a day. We've gotten a lot done. We've not hit any of the big bosses yet, but we fought quite a few of the smaller ones.
父上
Well, not getting back through there.
霊園からお任せ
Alright, let's do this. words cannot describe how good this game feels just to play. Like, how swift and precise Wolf's movements feel when you're at the controls. It is good stuff. Drop down. Hey, welcome back, Lack. Lack says looks good though, and MC says games do love their fire effects. Yeah, this game has much better fire than, say, Dark Souls 1 or 2 did. I will say that. Don't think we saw enough fire. Oh no, we did see some fire in Dark Souls 3, and it actually looked quite nice too. So we've got to make our way through another encampment. Well, kind of, sort of, an encampment. Yep, so this is the way up. And a bandit named Juzo is commanding this entire band, as far as we know. MC says fire effects are basically a way to show off the graphic programmers. Oh yeah, definitely. But man, did they do a decent job of it here, I've got to say. There's one more of them, be alerted, right? No! Damn it. Two more. Well, we're going to use our resurrection, of course. Here, have some fire. Oh, we lit him up, too. Gotta be very careful here. Let's pop a pellet. Why not? We've got plenty. It's a tiny little health boost, but it'll still make a difference. There we go. All of the loot, please. And thank you. Did we get everything around here? Oh, no. There's this side path that I think is guarded by a couple spearmen, the warrior monks. It's very, very, reckless to take them on right now, but, you know, I'm not exactly known for my good decision-making, right? They fight just like, the shinobi hunter. And I do mean just like him. It's like he knows. Oh wait, no, damn it. No, well, it's still connected. Damn it! Damn it all! Well, we might actually have to call it there because we were a stone's throw from the next idol and just ran out of steam. But that's okay. We made plenty of progress today, and we'll definitely be back for some more either tomorrow or Friday, one or the other. So until then, again, losing half your coin, I am not a fan of that. That is way too much, at least for the first death in quite some time anyway. But until next time, ladies and gents, please take care, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back with more Sekiro very, very soon, and we should be able to take on 2 major bosses in our next stream. Until then, have a good one.